For many people, addressing their inheritance tax liability or their estate planning is something that they've been thinking about doing for quite some time. So the fact that you've chosen to take that first step is really important. Most people that we speak to initially just want clarity on which tactics or which planning opportunities should be considered by their family. And in the briefing meeting, we'll start to talk to you about whether or not it's a good idea for you to engage with our firm. You can spend the time understanding how we work and ask questions around how you can choose to engage with us. And of course, we'll want to make sure that if you do engage with us from that point for paid advice, that it's definitely a good idea and that you're exactly the sort of person that we're here to help. Quite often, we meet people who already have a plan in place, but because of the changes to the way inheritance tax legislation works, or because of changes to their family circumstances, there have become gaps or inefficiencies, which means that exploring the planning again with the help of a professional is something that avoids an unnecessary tax bill. And in many cases, the cost of getting that advice is marginal relative to what can be hundreds of thousands of pounds of tax savings that we can investigate. If everything isn't structured correctly, quite often the outcome, which we find out about only after a death, isn't quite what the client had in mind when they put the planning in place. And the reassurance of having a safe pair of hands on the tiller from someone who's professionally qualified and who understands deeply what the family is hoping to achieve can provide that reassurance that we have a plan in place which should protect your family wealth for the next 2 generations. So, on your briefing call, we'll start by listening to you and understanding as much as we need to about your situation and outlining where there might be some opportunities to improve. It's a structured, straightforward conversation and not a sales call. If you like the sound of working with us, we'll then explain how we can work together in more detail. That involves instructing your ideal chartered financial planner for a full discovery meeting, where we'll take the time to understand the full extent of your financial and your family situation over the course of a 2-hour meeting with your dedicated specialist. You'll be able to ask any questions that you need the answers to really understand how putting in place some advanced planning can help your family. The next step is to really understand the specifics of how those recommendations can make a difference to your family in a written report which you receive and is produced over the course of about a 3 or 4 week research period. When you receive that report in the post, you can read it and reread it until you're fully confident that the advice meets your needs exactly. And when you have a further meeting with your dedicated consultant, you can ask any final questions that you need the answers to get to that point of being completely certain that the advice provided is exactly what it is you're after. But all of this starts with the briefing call. So over the course of 20 minutes with one of our team, you'll be able to ask any questions to understand whether or not moving forward with personalised planning with your own family specialist is a good call. Before the call, we'd encourage you to spend a little bit of time making a note of all your assets and what it is you're trying to achieve, what worries you, and what sort of ideas you might have been thinking about up to now. If you come to the call prepared with a little bit of thought, then you might have read some of the materials from the library section on deepdivetrusts.co.uk. You might have watched some of the videos into the video section of deepdivetrusts.co.uk. And so if you're curious as to whether or not you can then take the first step with Deep Dive estate planning to put your family on the right track, then you'll be able to get those questions answered on the briefing call, and we really look forward to meeting you then.